the free units and the siege.
Yeah.
You'd have to do a lot of tweaking to it to change the way that it
The
works.
entire design philosophy is fucking dumb. That's the main with it. It
Mm-hmm.
has to be a shift in design philosophy that makes the game better. I mean, it's the same thing we said when Starbow had its big blow up.
Yeah.
I mean, the idea behind it was good, that Zerg needs a way to force engagements, but the execution was terrible, I think.
Yes.
All right, getting Thorin back in here. Oh, shit. Hold on. Oh, fuck. Shit. I think hold on. All right, we'll be right back.
Indeed.
All right, we are back. We got Thorin back here.
Thorin, what do you think are the chances that it's actually a guy hired by Travis? And why hasn't he posted?
Travis
why
like
hasn't he
works with
posted-
him.
Why hasn't he posted the video when you were on the show with him?
He did post it.
He did.
He did post it.
Somebody said he
You didn't
didn't
know
post the
that?
YouTube
It took
video.
like a
Somebody said
week.
he
No,
did.
It
he
took
put
like
it
a
up, and then when the Reddit thread was 99% people like, wow, this Thorin guy just shit all over that guy. That Travis guy.
Yeah.
Not sure he even took it
Actually, yeah.
offline because he was
Oh,
so
he took
mad.
it off? Oh,
Yeah.
come on,
That was
Travis. Jeez.
It's the only
It's okay,
episode
look,
of
because
Stand Up
someone
I've ever
before it went
watched.
offline, someone made a highlight video of it.
I think TB's gonna need to
Lovely.
cancel Travis soon, man.
Am I being DDoSed again?
What?
No, you're good. Wait, hello?
ChanManV, you're the fucking worst sport. This is exactly
What?
unbelievable.
No, I see you. I see you fine. What's going on?
Yeah, I can hear him.
Maybe it's something
Maybe not
happened
now.
before. What?
Oh my.
I don't know. He's gonna have like a little fucking explosion over there.
Is it okay, Thor, or no? I mean, we still see you fine.
Yeah, I don't think he can hear us.
Oh, shit. Oh,
This is where
man.
oh, there he goes.
One of those days, man. One of those days. Fucking A. Okay, well.
Well, what's the thing?
Don't know what to tell you, man.
How was your the Nation Wars thing going?
Clan Wars?
Or the Clan Wars.
Alright, let's talk about that then.
Yeah, let's do that. It's going pretty good. I can talk about viewership figures. So
Yeah, go
double
go
check
for it.
with MLG to see if that was okay. So yeah, man, I'm happy to share viewership figures. So first time. Sorry, Steve. Go ahead.
Oh no, yeah, no, that's what I was gonna ask. Go for it.
Yeah. So the first one we ended up with like 10k concurrents, which was really really strong, I think, for an MLG TV show. Bear in mind, not being on Twitch is like a big albatross around anyone's neck when they're trying to do an event. And then we've had kind of variants depending on who's been playing. And I think the worst event we've ever had would be like we had 3.5k concurrent on a day where we clashed with WCS EU, and we got absolutely stomped on. But yesterday we had about 5.5k concurrent watching IVD versus NYE's B team. So that's pretty good numbers, especially considering that they really didn't put out any kind of big players there. So I think it's a really nice point to build from. And I think that they just added something, they've added follow functionality in now, so it'll actually email you when a show goes live. So that's not too bad. And I have a feeling that that will help out a little bit. We've started doing a lot more sort of direct promo saying, hey, this is on now, and we've done it through YouTube and put up little promo videos to push traffic there. Also getting people to look at the schedule, keeping the schedule updated and making sure that everything's going fine there. So I think that there seems like there's potential to slowly build, 3.5k during WCES EU on MLG TV, not on Twitch, for some fairly small teams. That's not bad, I'm pretty happy with that, especially considering it's not a big tournament that we promoted months and months and months in advance. It's, something that happens 10 times a month. So I know MLG's happy with the numbers, and I'm pretty happy with the numbers as well. So the ad revenue is pretty good. Can't complain about that fucking CPM, especially.
Oh, yeah. I hope
CPM
that that's sustainable and they're not fudging the numbers, because if the CPM is real, like...
Oh, it crushes my Twitch
It's
numbers.
really... crushing is an understatement. Yeah. Crushing is it's like, I want to say in the ballpark of like 40 to 50 times better, maybe more. Without getting into specific numbers. Yeah, so I hope that that's sustainable. The one thing that I'm kind of worried about, and I guess this would be a more appropriate question for MLG, and obviously they would never answer honestly, but I wonder if MLG is willing to stick it out with kind of not the best viewership numbers to kind of grow their platform.
I think they are. I think that it's an investment. Like, from what I understand right now is that Shoutcraft Clan Wars for them is actually running in the black, which is great because they don't really have to dedicate any staff to it. They're just dedicating bandwidth, and they're taking a good share of the ad revenue, and they're pouring $5,000 a month into the prize pool, so it'd be 60k over the course of 12 months. And what I'm hearing from them right now is that shows in the black. They're actually making a small amount of money off it. I'm making a small amount of money off it because the CPM is that good, and I'm also getting really good views on the YouTube VODs. I'm getting like 30,000 on every YouTube VOD, which is higher than I usually
That's
get.
not bad.
The format works, man. It's a short format that takes about 2 hours to watch. You can load the VOD up and just sit back and fucking watch it. You can catch a rerun whenever you want. You don't have to dedicate an entire day to watching it. It's usually on at a good time that doesn't clash with other tournaments. So it's exactly what we wanted out of that event. And saying, oh, well, you're not getting 70,000 concurrent viewers. That means dead games. Like, no, it's a little clan war, and we have fucking 10 of them a month. If I get anywhere between 5 to 10K on little 2-hour-long events that have $500 prize pools, fuck yeah, absolutely. That's great.
It's not even so much at the moment. I don't think it's so much about the raw viewer numbers. It's more of the stability points. Like, at what point can we find out that we're stable here, and then we can grow from there? Because I mean, as we've all noticed,
out of our ass,
exactly. Yeah. 2011, 2012, and even early-ish 2013 was all. How much longer do we have to bleed profuse amounts of money to start to turn things into profitable territory, or to go from the red to the black? But yeah, I mean, doing these small events, it's okay if the viewership is small. As long as everybody's making money, then you can start to ramp things up slowly from there, and everything is sustainable too. Like if what you just said is true, then there's no chance that you're about to go NASL tomorrow and say, "Oh, sorry, we're done, closing up shop. We're not fucking." Because when shit like that happens, when shit like that happens, or like when IGN gets bought by someone, it's like, "See ya, IPL," and it's like, okay, well, these things were running in the wood for way too fucking long, so obviously, they have to get cut. So yeah, that's good.
Yeah, the viewership is not actually declining, strangely enough. I was reading the NASL thread, and people were just waxing lyrical about how great it was back in the day when there were so many viewers. I'm like, I'm sorry, did you fucking watch NASL Season 2? They were lucky if they were scraping 5K concurrent on Twitch. And that was with world-class players. Now, only their big finals actually got decent viewership. IPL, when I cast that, and we saw the IPL and IPTL, terrible numbers. Terrible. 3 to 4K concurrent at most. Like, if we're pulling twice that on MLG TV for tiny little $500 clan wars, or we can do things like SeatStory Cup and pull in 10K for just an average ATC match, of which there's several every week, that's good. And not most of the point, compare NSL Season 2 and 3, who are getting, like, again, about 5K concurrents, to something like WCSNA, which is more like 15 to 20K. Pro League has tripled in viewership since they got rid of S&M. Correlation doesn't equal causation, but all I'm saying is Pro League's doing pretty well right now. Yeah. And it's got to the point where actually you're getting this sort of regular weekly content that doesn't cost huge amounts of money, that's actually pulling in good regular viewership. But the problem with NASL is that they've been, as you said, running in the red for fucking ever.
Way too long, with no end in sight,
Oh, you're talking about NASL
there was no way out of it. Well, it's just kind of a comparison to Clan Wars. Like, Clan Wars is built as a sustainable format with a reasonable expectations, and NASL was built as a kind of pie-in-the-sky promise. And I love all the guys that were doing NASL to death, but where was the money going to come from?
I know, like, what is the big win in that kind of thing? Like, I'll throw out another example, TB, since you know the Hearthstone community some. Whole ESGN thing. Like, where's the money going to come? I mean, what are they trying to do? Because they're burning money like crazy.
All of it is just initial investment for the hope that it grows into something huge. It's a risky investment, but that's exactly what it is.
Exactly what NASL was.
Exactly. Like, look, but like, and it's easy to say now. You just have to be careful. Like, it's easy to say now, like, oh my god, why do people waste so much money? But I mean, like, this is very, very loosely related, but look at something like Bitcoin. Like, I'm sure there's a bunch of people who were buying a ton of Bitcoins when they were like $1 each, and people were like, you wasted $100 to get 100 Bitcoins? Are you a fucking idiot? And now that's worth $100,000, you know? Course, so, I mean, it's the same thing in early 2011 when there was no, like, global esports community like it is today, when people were like, fuck, like, well, let's get in on this now. And then we got in on it now in 2011, and we got in on it early in 2012, and it's like, well, where's the explosion? And then it didn't happen. Like, okay, time to fucking scale back.
I get
there was the expectation of exponential growth, and it never happened with StarCraft anyway. You know,
well,
if you got in on the ground floor with League, you're probably looking pretty good. But
exactly. And the people that had that same mentality with StarCraft 2, they got in early on League. Those people are getting some pretty fucking good money now. You know.
Yeah, but those people. Okay, so you got in early with League. Getting in on early, I mean, who else has invested so much into like a studio? I mean, we're not talking about just like creating a weekly online show like this thing or something like that. There's no investment in this, right? We're talking about like, spending hundreds of thousands to even like, maybe even up to $1 million in trying to invest in.
Salaried staff, salaried production
salaried staff. So where's the big win? Like, give me an example. Give me an example of a big win. Give me an example of somebody who's making a shitload of money after they invested.
Well, I wouldn't say ESL's making a shitload of money, but they're sustainable because they had the fucking common sense to diversify very, very early.
Yeah, they have a lot of things going on, dude. ESL does.
Yeah, they utilize their resources very well, and WCS for them. Sorry, Stephen.
No, go ahead.
I think it makes sense that they do a lot of different games, and they can continue to produce StarCraft 2 because they're obviously really passionate about it. They do a great job with WCS, but are they making money on WCS? Well, they've got the biggest shot at making money on WCS compared to every other region. They get the best viewership. They have what appears to be the most solid sponsorship and big sponsors backing it up, and their format works. They don't go overboard. Their studio hosts so many different things in and of itself. And I think a similar example as someone pointed out in chat was Beyond the Summit, you know?
And what TB said there was the most important thing is that they when he said, like, are they making a lot of money at it now? Like, maybe not, but they've got the best shot to do it. You know, being diversified and being in that area, if something does blow up or get big, they're fucking right there on the ground floor with all the initial investment, all the initial capital, all taken care of. They're ready to fucking take off with it.
ESL's been around for a while, so, and, you know, talking to Paul's been in the show a lot. You know, we know they made decisions like to have it was a season 2 at Gamescom because it was it was a money situation too. You know, having it at like a big game convention is much cheaper than renting out. You know, they make smart decisions in that sense. It's just
Carrick's a smart guy, always has been.
Yeah,
there's no question about that.
You know, but I mean, just seeing other people just throw money from nothing into like a large.
I think ESGN is stupid. I think it's a waste of money. I don't think that's ever going to be probable. I would never defend ESGN's spending decisions.
I can't.
That's the total.
I just can't see it being.
I can't see it possibly being profitable under any circumstances. I mean, the amount of sponsorship you'd actually need to pay for the stuff that you're currently doing on ESGN is obscene. Their studio space, their production levels, really, really high. But it doesn't matter because they're going for this whole, well, let's do this sort of televised esports content thing. And we're still very much in this area where video on demand is king, and streamed content is definitely getting better, but people are not asking for regular esports news shows that are streamed at particular times. We're not in a... We don't sit down and I'm going to sit down and watch ESGN News at 7 p.m. CET.
It's almost like when MLG pulled out and IPL left and now NASL. I don't know. It's like they looked at it, it's like, oh my god, look at this giant vacuum, and it's like, well, it's not like the vacuum is there to be filled. Like those people left because they weren't profitable. Yeah, like I don't know. I don't understand.
Well, let's just talk about the thing that's the most successful thing right now that we're seeing, LCS, right? Riot dumping a lot of money into that. Are they making money?
Well, no, but it doesn't matter because they have infinite money.
That's like an advertising platform, which I think it's legitimate to dump money into that in so far as advertising. And I think Riot's already got all of their profitability or all of their profit models are already set up and built into League of Legends and shit. So when they do the LCS stuff and whatnot, and they're quote unquote, like I would say Riot wastes money on LCS the same way that Red Bull wastes money having that guy, do like the really big fucking jump or whatever other crazy things that Red Bull wants. It's like it's part of their marketing,
Exactly. It's part of the marketing budget. It ends up being a tax write-off in certain respects as well. And you've also got the ability to monetize that in the game. It's actually why I'm quite surprised that Blizzard hasn't jumped on Hearthstone in that way, because Blizzard actually has a way to monetize Hearthstone directly, and they could push a tournament series, which would actually make them some money.
But Blizzard would need to have, the problem is that Blizzard would need to have an established tournament series up already, which would that ever happen?
And they don't have the tools for it. The thing is, they never started with the intention, did they? And it's funny because neither did Riot, and it took them so long to get all these features in.
Maybe that was too heavy. I was being really sarcastic. I don't see why Hearthstone isn't dumped into the WCS. I don't see why they don't just combine that. Yeah, sorry, I don't understand why WCS multiple Blizzard games. There's no reason for it not to. It could be a great cross-promotion tool for all of their games, I think.
Potentially.
I mean,
even if they don't necessarily have to do it at the same time. Like, this is the WCS, StarCraft, and Hearthstone tournament, together. Like Take Two Video. But I think they could launch a Hearthstone tournament series under the WCS brand.
I mean, we always throw around the term esports, right?
Unless you're right, then it's just sports.
Do you think Hearthstone has an esport future, or is it just going to be
anything that people want to watch has an esports future? It doesn't fucking matter what it is. Hearthstone, quite frankly, has so much RNG in it that it's kind of ridiculous that it's popular as a competitive format, but it doesn't matter because it's popular as a competitive format, and that is the sole thing that makes the difference. If there are enough players playing and there are enough players wanting to watch, that is the only thing that is required to make your esport viable. And it could be absolutely fucking anything that could break out as the next big thing. And we can look at really good, viable, competitive games like StarCraft, or go even further back, like look at CS 1.6, look at Quake 3. I'm sorry, but Quake 3 was perhaps one of the most viable competitive games to ever exist in the 1v1 duel format. Pure skill. And nobody fucking watched it, and they still don't fucking watch it. It does not matter. People don't actually care about those kind of things. They just care about watching the shit they want to watch, and if it happens to be decided by coin flips and Nat Pagels, then so be fucking it. Because that's the game they're interested in.
Anymore,
Yep.
Yeah.
And then keep in mind too that even though coin flips and RMG might necessarily be bad in the competitive scene, I think some of that can be good for viewership. People want to see volatility to some extent.
Well, we see
and if you can get a good observer format, I remember reading so much shit. A lot of people attributed the kind of explosion in popularity of like TV poker and Texas Hold'em and all that.
Yeah, I know exactly.
One of the reasons why people love that shit is because the ability to see a player's whole cards while they're playing at a table is like that's awesome fucking viewership material. Having 100% of the information and watching two players that both have 60% of the information, like if you could watch a Hearthstone game going on and see the cards in each player's hands, like seeing the traps that might be set up and having the people talk about it, like that could be like a really awesome viewership kind of experience thing.
Yeah, some people have argued that any observer mode. We're actually talking about this a lot at BlizzCon when we talked to a bunch of the designers, and they were saying, what does an observer mode actually need? Do you need the ability to see the next few draws? Do you need that ability, or would it be more exciting?
So cool.
Well, I mean, at the very least, I think at the very least they need to do what I do in Deck Wars, which is show what's in the deck. So that you can actually. Of course, yeah. I mean, at the very least, that I think is a really cool element because you track
that on Deck Wars. Like, do you actually mark it off when it's drawn?
Yeah, we and when there's like two of them, we mark off the two whenever it's all video editing too, so it's painful. But
that's a pain in the ass. Good lord,
it is. But they can do it easily. Not easily, but they can work that into the
that kind of stuff definitely needs to be part of the observer mode. And thankfully, considering they built the fucking thing for iPad, so it's 4x3, there's plenty of real estate on the screen that they can use. So they can put it wherever the hell they want.
They could change the view of the whole board too. They don't have to have it exactly the same as playing the game.
Shitloads of wasted space.
I mean, it should. I think it should be redesigned altogether in the obs mode.
It looks nice for casual play, but if you wanted, you could actually have a customizable UI for esports. That would be fine. Yeah, that would be a good idea.
Because it's single. The UI is meant for single. It's a single player UI. So
pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think there's a lot.
The guy
could
work on it. He could call the guy could work on an interface for it and call it Game Hearth.
Ryan.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's nice.
Trademark that shit.
Yeah, trademark that shit. Okay, let's talk about NASL. Obviously, big news. NASL saying farewell to StarCraft, and there's a question as to whether NASL is saying farewell, period. But that hasn't been announced quite yet.
The announcement itself wasn't too surprising. Like, if NASL announced it's like, oh, like, we're done, sorry, we can't afford it. Like, I'd be like, yeah, I mean, I can understand that. Announcing it mid-WCS, though, I thought that was weird. That makes me feel like something changed, like, really quickly inside.
Bitterly,
because that's like I'm not sure exactly how the relationship with Blizzard is, but I almost feel like you would have something built, like a penalties or something built into a contract for fucking that relationship up. But like, I know Blizzard wasn't
totally.
Yeah. So like that, I feel like something really big.
The other thing that they were working on, right, was World of Tanks, right? So maybe something happened there. I don't know, but.
Well, the Tanks didn't get the viewership. Like I've occasionally tuned into that, and the viewership for that seems to be diabolically.
It doesn't matter.
Bad.
They were getting revenue from that contract.
Yeah, but for how long?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe that was over. I don't know. Maybe that was the big thing.
The publisher can see the numbers just as well as we can and say, "Hang on a minute, we're throwing way too much money at this." And they've been running World of Tanks for quite some time as well. Apparently, even their live finals had problems and all sorts of things like that. So. It's very strange that Roddy came out and said we didn't know this was happening, and then you also have Mr. Bitter kind of Mr. Bitter moving to Red Bull was a little. That was a little odd, and I have to wonder just how much you can kind of.
Wait. Odd going to Red Bull or just odd leaving NASL? I mean, what do you
mean?
Well,
it's just that the timing is convenient. He left for Red Bull just kind of before this all went down, and as a result, there's a lot of speculation. It could very easily just. I don't know if he knew more than Roddy did, but there's no way he wouldn't have told Roddy about that. I mean,
yeah. No, and I deal with Red Bull. I feel like that's something that would have had to have been discussed pretty well into the future. I don't think that's something like somebody would message you like a week later, be like, all right, let's announce it. Like, fucking, I'm going to Red Bull. Awesome. You know, like, I think when you're working with Red Bull, usually those deals take a little bit longer to pen out. So I kind of believe Roddy when he said I had no idea, or was it Mr. Ritter that said, when they said they had no idea what was going down?
Both of them have said, I think they didn't realize.
Like I said, I feel like there's no way this could have been known about too far. Like, it had to have been disastrous to pull out mid WCS. That had to be. Yeah, like that's crazy.
Even before the round of 16, that's the insane thing. Like, you're pulling out in the online stage, for God's sake.
Yeah.
He is currently being casted from Europe at fucking midnight by Rodney and Nathanius in the ESL studio. It's the most absurd fucking thing that I've ever heard of. But it's happening, and there you go. But NASL was eventually going to go under. What they were doing was not diverse enough. Yeah, they were just operating on investor funds, which was eventually going to run out. Even their initial investment into StarCraft was a huge amount of money. You remember when they said, "Yeah, we're going to throw like $400,000," and it's like
with the weird construction guy. Yeah,
it's like, you're going to do what exactly? I mean, that's a huge amount of money, even compared to anything at the time. That was absurd. Even compared to IPL, that was absurd. And it obviously wasn't going to work out.
The idea for that angel investment came from the guy that founded it. I don't even remember his name, but the guy, he like worked in construction, had a ton of corporate contacts and shit, and was able to just throw a fuck ton of money at it. I don't know if does he still work with them? Does he still own it?
What are you talking about, Russell?
Who, Russ?
Russell, yeah, Russell, yeah.
Okay, Russell. Okay, I
I don't know who exactly the money came from or where.
Yeah,
I know
think it was multiple. Sir, I don't think Russell was the only owner. I mean, there were multiple owners.
I doubt it. I very much doubt it.
Russell's
a great guy, and he had some really good ideas. But you know what I think was really kind of killing it as well is that they lost a lot of their high quality production staff. You remember season 4? Really slick, really good quality production.
Going on. I mean, a lot of good shit that they were doing, and then it got
good.
sniped. It got sniped by ESPN. I mean, there's like 3 or 4 guys from NASL at ESPN now. So
Katz is just pointing out that Morgan, the main production guy, went to
Morgan,
ESPN.
Elliot,
they lost a lot of their good quality staff. Things were kind of going under at that point.
Yeah,
but it shows that, as Stephen pointed out earlier, that it was a company that was aiming at what StarCraft was in 2011 and what they perceived it was going to grow to in 2013, and not having that happen. And not diversifying into other things like League or Dota. Yes, they got into World of Tanks, but that was pretty much
they tried to do Dota for a little bit too. I mean, but that was after like basically this WCS kind of the WCS was going to be MLGs, and then they were kind of stuck, right? So they had to figure out something. So they were scurrying to Dota 2 and then World of Tanks. So
but I don't think it was a serious commitment to Dota 2.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I don't know. I would love to hear something from. I doubt they'll ever say anything officially, but I would love to hear like what was the catastrophic event? Was it? I mean, like if they drop World of Tanks soon, then it might have had something to do with that developer, where they were just like, "Whoa, we're not giving you any more. Sorry, peace out." And they were like, "Fuck!" Like, well, without them, we have nothing. So we're closing shop. I don't know if it had to do with them or.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Not sure, and I wanted to see if I could, have anybody that was been part of NASL to discuss it with us. But I think right now they're still. I think most people can't say anything right now, so at least the folks I talk to.
Well, they're not even legal to talk about that stuff.
They can't talk about anything right now. So
because again, there are probably huge penalties that I'm sure Blizzard would want to levy on them for fucking them over mid WCS.
Oh well, there's absolutely going to be that. You got to bear in mind, like as people were saying in the chat accurately, like they rolled the dice on things like Tribes, which was a fucking disaster esports wise. They rolled the dice on Hon, which was already kind of on its way out esports wise as well. And World of Tanks is not getting the views, but it has for a while, hasn't it? Yeah. So they took a couple of gambles. They needed one of those to pay off, and it didn't at all. And Hi-Rez pretty much dropped Tribes pretty quickly once they realized that Smite was the way to go. So unless they could have got a hold of something like Smite and got a good amount of publisher money for that, then they were bleeding pretty badly. They had a good amount of stuff, but no
Tribes that wasn't that bad either. But,
I think so. My prediction, then, my totally amateur prediction, I think NSL is going to close shop completely. I don't think they're going to carry on with World of Tanks. I think they're done completely. Because if they try to carry on with World of Tanks, they're going to be on the hook for whatever they owe Blizzard or whatever the penalties are for that. But if they close up shop and they're done, then they just say fuck it all. The business goes bankrupt and it's
bankruptcy. Yeah.
Yeah, and then NSL just goes away. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm thinking that's probably what's that's kind of sad too, and I mean I have to bring up the question of what does that mean for North American StarCraft? I mean I know ESL's taking up WCS America, but I don't know.
Well, what did WCSNA have anything to do with North American StarCraft?
I mean it's To a degree, it does. I mean, just a little bit.
Very-
I mean, I'm not saying
not
this is
too
like the end of
much.
the world or anything, but you know, it's still.
It doesn't really make much of a difference, does it? It didn't matter that this was based in America. There weren't that many American players ever making it to the offline portion anyway.
Okay,
and if
true.
they do get there in the next season, okay, they're going to fly to Cologne instead. Then it doesn't really make that much difference. The WCS NA was not kind of building the NA scene.
It doesn't make
That's
that much of
NASL.
a difference. I mean, maybe like on paper, but oh man, I'm not trying to doom and gloom or whatever, but I mean, I think it kind of hurts to lose. NASL was really like the last kind of thing that was in NA. Like NA is pretty in a
You think-
not comfortable spot. I know that MLG is kind of back at least for Anaheim, but I mean, without NASL here anymore, like what do we have in NA that's left?
Yeah, live events wise, that's a real problem. Unless ESL
yeah.
decide to.
Yeah, I
do
mean,
stuff.
are they gonna
Red
have-
Bull probably will again.
Are they going to have
Probably.
the season end? At least the American.
No.
There's no season ends anymore, right? So let's see if
No.
there's going to be.
Yeah, they
anything
would
in-
never. I doubt ESL would pay to do all that. Like,
That's what I
Well,
mean.
they killed the
So-
Grand Slams off with 2014 season
I
anyway,
know. So
so
there's
that's
really
kind of irrelevant.
nothing to really have a land on North American soil for.
NA can be pretty difficult to set up a LAN successfully, unless you have a really good history of it. MLG probably was the best at it, and they're still the best at it. But even then, it's a big fucking country. People have to travel an awful lot to get to an event. It's expensive to do it. Hotels are expensive.
Yeah.
It's what something Thorin was saying earlier, and I think you guys mentioned it as well, is why would you have it in Katowice? Well, it's cheap. Like, it's cheap to fly there. It's cheap to stay there.
Right.
There's a shitload of people that don't have anything better to do that really want to check something like that out. It's a fairly small country. America
can
is not a fucking small
negotiate.
country.
yeah, you can negotiate with a lot of deals in cities too. Like, I mean, like just
Yeah,
look in the
super
United
cheap.
States. Like, I live in fucking Omaha. When they were talking about rebuilding like
Dirt.
fucking when they talk about rebuilding like fucking baseball related shit and like new stadiums, fucking dude, the city will fucking openly rape the every
backwards.
single fucking inhabitant. Like, I'm sorry guys, but we're going up to a 400% sales tax. We really want we wanted like the Olympics preparation or rehearsal or whatever bullshit. We wanted the baseball shit. Cities will dump so much money into that shit if they think it's worth their time. So if you go to like a smaller place that doesn't get activity like that, like negotiating, deals on hotels and all that, they think it's going to bring in a lot of attention and activity. You can get a lot more lucrative deals out there than you could in a place that already has a ton of fucking shit going for it,
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely from a money spending standpoint, that totally makes sense.
Hopefully we
Yeah.
hopefully we don't lose any planes on the way to Katowice,
Oh,
I
oh.
guess.
Oh gosh, man. But yeah. Anyways, NASL. We'll see. I guess how it plays out in the next few weeks, probably maybe a couple months.
They're
But at
closing
least-
shop. That's my prediction. 100%. They're closing shop. I'll bet money on it if anybody wants to. Bet
Yeah,
on it.
That's
I
my-
find it
that's
hard
my
not to
prediction,
agree
too.
with that.
They're closing
Yeah.
shop.
Yeah.
At least Roddy.
I just kind of hope that Red Bull steps in. I think they're already set up to do it. They already have the studio, they already have the staff, they already have the experience. They've got live event experience, they've got in-studio experience. It makes
Yeah.
sense for them to take over. ESL's already overstretched it. I doubt ESL wants this. Like, ESL
Yeah.
are taking it because they have to right now.
Yeah. Do you think Red Bull will step in? Because I feel like Red Bull. I mean, this is just my take on it. I don't really know firsthand from Rob or anything, but I feel like they've always enjoyed not.
their
Enjoyed
own
being able to do whatever they wanted to, in
It
regards
depends
to
what
this.
kind
Yeah,
of
the
spin they
problem-
can put on it.
The problem with Red Bull, I say problem, it's not really a problem, is that Red Bull doesn't come off as like an ultra hyper structured kind of thing. Red Bull is more of like yeah, we want to do this, let's do it. And then like that's it. I don't think Red Bull's the kind of person to or not the kind of person, the kind of entity to put out like this is like the official Red Bull circuit tournament series or whatever,
It's a money thing, though. In the end, I guess if the money's right, they probably do it. But yeah, it'll be interesting. I mean, they have Bitter there already. I mean, then Roddy and Bitter could probably be together again. It's kind of weird splitting those two up now.
What about
Yeah, sure.
MLG taking it back? What do you think about
Well,
that?
wouldn't that be interesting and a bit funny?
Well, I can tell you for a fact that will never fucking happen in a million
I
years.
don't
because
think that will ever happen.
Yeah, I'm sure Blizzard
Uh,
will definitely pull out of their exclusivity agreement with Twitch in order to allow MLG to broadcast it on their platform. Like,
Yeah.
nope, not
Yeah. Oh, that's true. I didn't even think about that portion. I'm just thinking out purely just past history. That would be.
Not in a million years, I don't think.
God,
I'd be
that'd be
very
crazy.
surprised to see
That's
that.
kind of what Totalbiscuit just said is kind of interesting to think about too. Is how much of a choice did ESL have in picking up WCS without hurting their relationship with Blizzard? Like for NASL to drop it. I mean, like I'm sure like ESL was kind of looking like fuck, like
Yeah.
you can't like It's like you have a kid at school and you're busy with some really important shit and your wife calls and says like, I'm sorry, like I'm not gonna be able to go pick him up, and you're like, I have to, like I can't just leave my kid at school forever, and I think it's like the same thing with ESL. Like ESL can be like, sorry, like fuck Blizzard, like we like you guys, we're happy to work with you, but so that's kind of interesting. What are the implications on ESL for how much are they stressed now and having to deal with all of the W stuff on top of everything else,
Super busy now, but I'm sure Blizzard's compensating them correctly for all this.
Kind of, yeah, but I mean, some things like
if they were compensating them. Sorry, Steven.
If they were, if they're compensating them well enough, they would have taken it on initially anyway, or.
Well,
no,
what I was going to say is,
if
they would compensate people well enough, then NASL wouldn't be going bankrupt, would they?
Well, this is a different situation. This is a different situation. Come on, man. It's like
MLG wouldn't have dropped it after season 1 so quickly. WCS evidently does not pay that well for the organizers.
No, it doesn't. I'm saying in this particular situation.
And that's what I was saying, and that's what I was going to say too. Like, even if they are getting paid, like if they end up botching this, is it worth the potential negative PR for whatever I don't want to say measly sum, but whatever little bit Blizzard pays, is it going to be worth it if ESL ends up fucking over events hard because they're trying to manage more than what I'm sure they originally have the staff or desire to take on,
Yeah, that's what a lot of people.
But I mean, no one sane would ever blame ESL for like kind of buckling under the pressure in some way, because that's an absurd amount of shit they have to deal with now.
Well, I'm sorry. What community have you been looking at for the
past week? I'm sorry. There was a little bit of my optimism just trying to break through the skin there, and I just had to slap it back down.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Oh my god.
No, it's good. It's good. I appreciate it. We'll let that shine through. I'm sure nobody on the Starcraft subreddit is going to be giving ESL shit for problems.
No, of course not. They would never do such a thing.
All right. Well, let's go into some Q&A here. Let me take a quick break, and we'll go into Q&A.
I'm a little surprised that here's like a quick random off thing. This could have been like a diabolical plot actually if ESGN would have stepped in to take over WCS.
Oh god,
I don't know if would ever agreed to it, but like that would have been
interesting.
Like all of a sudden like ESGN is like that would have been like some conspiracy level shit, I think, after hiring away people from and whatnot to I don't know,
I see what you mean.
E.g. Hub's just being escorted in by those 2 hired models or whatever the hell they do. It's like, spin the wheel to find out which map we choose.
Exactly.
Flashing lights and everything. It's like, you get Steps of War.
Nice.
I could make a tournament based on that. That's a good fucking idea. Wheel of Fortune StarCraft. Let's fucking do it.
That's true, man. You gotta get the girls too, man. Gotta get the girls.
Oh, God. It's the worst part of that event. Oh god, why do they have that?
All right, we'll take a break on that, guys, and
yeah, let's get out of this.
Actually, we'll do my giveaway winners too when we come back, and then we'll do Q&A.
All right. Shut up.
All right, we are back, guys, and going to be doing my giveaway announcement here. And man, I need to have some way to make this a little bit more exciting, but I don't. The only thing I have is like a drum roll, like wave I use. But
those production values.
Exactly, I don't have anything for that. But those of you know that I announced like a winner Razor bundle giveaway thing I always do, and it's this thing right here, guys. If you guys didn't see it before, it's just like a bundle of gaming gear, headset, everything, keyboard.
Wait, how do you eligible for that giveaway?
How are you eligible? You just have to go to that site and just do various things. And
did you hear about what happened to Tali recently? I think Totalbiscuit.
Yep.
No, what happened?
Yeah,
yes. Oh yeah.
So Twitch engages in something called police do it too. It's called selective enforcement.
Whoa. Okay.
The thing chosen for enforcement this week was giveaways, and Twitch, I guess, like went fucking balls deep on making sure the terms of service for giveaways was enforced. Tali got like temp banned from his site, and they pretty much put the brakes on like all giveaways on the site that ever like people doing like subscriber giveaways and shit is apparently like that's totally against the
lottery
rules
under California law apparently.
Yeah. I heard subscriber giveaways were. I mean, is it anything else subscriber based except for the giveaways? Like, can you
giveaway that you do, anything you do that is a giveaway that requires somebody to be a subscriber is technically, I guess, illegal in some states in the United States, or maybe even federally. I don't know, because it falls under like the lottery raffle shit.
I see.
Yep.
Well, this doesn't have anything to do with Twitch. This doesn't involve money either. So this doesn't have to do with like.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, this doesn't involve any kind of subscribing, for money either. So this is completely free. Everybody can subscribe. Just enter into the giveaway for free. I just need to get rid of some gear. That's really the main thing. So, anyways,
get this shit out of my house.
It takes so much space over here. That's seriously. It's like, jeez, man. But anyways, the Winter Razer Gaming Bundle giveaway. Lots of people entered. Thousands of people entered, actually. So, where's my drum roll wave here? Where is it? I can't even find it. This is so... Oh, my God. I can't even find it. Here we go.
Oh, my God.
All right, drum roll, baby. The winner of the giveaway, Razer Bundle giveaway of this great gaming gear is Mr. Christopher Booyak. And I will be in touch with you. Mr. Christopher Booyak from, I believe... Oh, gosh. I don't have his address here. Is it Massachusetts? It might be Massachusetts. Somewhere in the U.S., though. This guy, I can tell he's from the U.S. So
congratulations on the air, so everyone could come and congratulate him for his fantastic victory there.
Yeah.
I don't know. The last time we pulled somebody out of the air was pretty disastrous. So.
Yeah. So. What? Oh yeah, it wasn't disastrous.
Wait, were you here for that Twitch?
Great.
For that Twitch plays Pokemon guy?
I switched both of you guys.
I watched that in the VOD.
Oh god.
Oh my, oh my.
That was fucking great. I got you guys switched, man. Oh my god. This is fucking production. This is a production fucking nightmare today. Oh my god. This is crazy. But anyways, congratulations to Christopher Booyak for winning the giveaway. And yeah, I'm gonna be sending that to you real soon. You should be getting it in the mail very, very soon here. Oh, actually, I should be on the forum, man. That's why. There we go. Hopefully, Thorin. I'm still holding hope Thorin is gonna come back, but I'm thinking he won't be.
Probably not.
Yeah. All right, let's take a look at the questions that you guys have had in the Reddit thread here. And again, we're going to look at the questions here. Too late to pretty much post at this point, but you can kind of walk through them with me if you want. First question for Thorin. He's not here. Next question we got. Let's see, to TB. At the current rate, how long are you planning on running Axiom? Do you ever plan to sell the team to a new owner, or are you planning on doing it till you are dead from a heart attack caused by social media? Ha ha ha.
So in the next 3 months then? No, honestly, like, Axiom's always going to be a loss. It's still a loss, even with the current sponsorship. Sponsorship pays for about 30% of what the team actually costs to run every month.
Yeah.
WCS has got a bit easier for us this year because they're offering travel compensation, which they didn't previously. So every time we sent 3 people to America every 3 months, that was really fucking painful. So that's getting sorted out quite nicely. How long do I intend to run it for? As long as I keep giving a shit about StarCraft, and as long as our players keep giving a shit about StarCraft. Some of them are probably going to have to go to the military fairly soon. Yeah. So, that's something to consider. And would I hire new players after that? I don't know if I would. It's kind of a little family atmosphere. They all get along really well. They all have a big history together. And I don't know if we'd even and considering team leagues are barely even a thing anymore, there's not even a reason to maintain a team league capable roster. Ace of Team Story Cup's coming back, but outside of that, there's pretty much that, Clan Wars and whatever.
No.
Well, we're not big enough to Pro League, so if we do Pro League, we'd do it with someone else.
I should charge you for this advice, but I think that if you went into the Bitcoin subreddit, actually, there's no reason not to.
Somebody they were suggesting Axiom.
You could very, very easily get sponsored. That they're actually looking to sponsor a team, I guess, because the subreddit is.
You do realize they emailed me last week about this, right?
Oh, okay. Well, then there you go.
Yeah. I gave them my.
Because you got so much
prospectus.
Yep, and you got the you were the one that did that show match with the Bitcoins and everything too, so you're already in prime position for it. Yeah, just be
I've
careful.
been dealing with them for quite a while.
Just be careful which exchange you hold your Bitcoins if you have one in exchange.
Yes, indeed, and apparently I'm not allowed to mention Dogecoin in any way, so that's unfortunate.
What's wrong with Dogecoin?
Well, the r/Bitcoin, I believe it would be part of the sponsorship agreement that I would not be allowed to mention Dogecoin.
Oh yeah, probably. They really don't like Dogecoin, but yeah.
No, not really. Yeah, they had some interesting ideas. Well, I think we'll probably be taking a small sponsorship from them. I mean, that's already kind of public anyway, so we'll look into that. But yeah, and Axiom's always been a loss. It's always going to be a loss unless my channel implodes anytime soon and I stop making the kind of money that I'm currently making. Then it'll just continue for the foreseeable future, and we'll wind it up when we all feel like it's best to.
Okay, cool. Next thing, this is an unfiltered question. If you could shut down one esports scene, which one would it be, and why?
Shut down one esports
Destiny.
Scene?
So Steven, I'm going to ask you first.
This sounds like a question for Too Good.
It's a question for Thorin. I think Thorin would have no problems answering that one too.
What would Thorin say? I don't think Thorin would want any esports scene shut down. Do you think?
Or
are you talking about an entire game, or are you talking about a region?
No, just an esports scene. Just period.
Like is an answer North American StarCraft? Or are you looking for a whole game or?
Oh, I was thinking more a game. I mean, you don't want to shut down the game, but just shut down the esports scene.
As much contempt as I have for Riot right now, I don't think I would want them to be shut down. I think that we're still too small to be picking apart each other. Except I guess Riot doesn't. What? Oh yeah, to take out League. I don't think that it would make everything else better.
Yeah.
No, it wouldn't.
No,
then you're not going to have that sudden spillover. People are still going to play and care about League of Legends. Let's all go to Dota. That's not going to happen. People have too much loyalty, and Riot built their game in such a way that you get invested in your account, and the sunk cost fallacy is basically burned into the mind of millions of teenagers right now, so there's no way they're ever going to fucking leave for a game, because they bought skins. So now they're tied to that game forever. Riot basically owns their soul, so that's not going to happen.
See.
If I was to shut down an esports scene... Infinite Crisis. Shut that down because it's fake. Well,
it's fake.
I mean, any fake promotional esports scene that doesn't actually have any legitimate organic interest, that shut all of that down because
you got to be really careful when you say that, because couldn't you say World of Tanks is the same thing? Yeah. Couldn't you argue?
Well, if you look at the numbers, I'd probably say so. I mean, that league is that league being used as a promotional tool for the game, and is there any actual legitimate viewership interest in watching that? Probably not. So I would say shut that down, because it's a clearly unhealthy model. It doesn't make any damn sense. And if you want to create an esports scene, it should be done because people actually like watching the game, not because you want to use it as some way to sink some of your marketing budget for the year.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Because, it's unsustainable bullshit. And guess what happens when we have unsustainable bullshit? Oh, yeah, NASL collapses.
Yep, and the worst is when, and the worst thing too is that people have to compete against unsustainable bullshit, which can be just as bad.
Fucking exactly.
I
mean, that's the biggest thing for me, is that having to compete against it. That's
if you have a $10,000 StarCraft 2 tournament and everyone else having a $50,000 one, you're like, well, we can't afford that. That's bullshit.
I mean, it fucks up the market. That's the thing. It fucks up the market.
Exactly.
But I actually don't blame these companies to try to. I mean, when you're first coming out of the game, you got to come out with something that's like some kind of marketing angle, and everybody's doing. All these companies are doing pretty much the same thing when it comes to just trying to market to. Just generally, it's a fun game, type of thing. So, esports thing can be.
Can I call out a genius in chat for a second? That would be nice. Totalbiscuit, you dumbass. World of Tanks has 10 times more players than StarCraft 2. Well, it's more like 100 times, but good job with that. What I would say is that you really think those players translate to fucking viewers? Because they fucking don't. League of Legends doesn't even get proportional viewership based on the number of players they've got, and they're the biggest esport around. That's not how it fucking works. You get viewers if your game is watchable. If people actually like to fucking watch the game played. StarCraft 2's viewership is completely disproportionate to the amount of active players it currently has. It's actually one of the healthiest esports in that respect.
More people are watching.
Because nobody fucking ladders. Yeah, compared to how many people who watch, compared to how many people who regularly ladder. The actual conversion rate is stupidly high in comparison to almost every other esport on the planet. So it's way more complicated than that. And again, you can see the public viewership numbers for World of Tanks tournaments. No one gives a shit outside of Korea. So what are you going to do with that? It's a marketing event.
And that argument is even worse because when you consider that they get 10 times the players and they have like 1/10 of the viewers, like
pretty terrible, isn't it?
Yeah, like what's
your argument there exactly?
And I think the difference between what Totalbiscuit is talking about when you're talking about ChanManV is that it would be nice to have the interest for a scene there before you start using it as a promotional. There's nothing bad about using a game as kind of a promotional tool, but to take a game that no one has any interest for and then try to use that, like to just artificially prop that up and use that as a promotional tool, it just feels like really artificial. I guess it just doesn't feel real,
Yeah.
Hearthstone is a weird one because Blizzard has not promoted it as a tournament esport in any way outside of the BlizzCon event. And shitloads of people watched it. And you want to know why they watched it? Because they found watching Hearthstone to be fun. And that's all they give a shit about. And that's why an esports scene exists for Hearthstone. There's not even any support for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I agree that's the natural way, for sure.
Yeah,
and
that's the way it works. That's how things get popular.
Okay, let's see. Next.
Shootmania. That's a prime example right there. Bullshit.
What are you talking about, man? Shootmania lives today.
I was Shootmania's premier caster for all of 2 weeks.
That's true. That's true. Let's see. God, there was a bunch of questions for Thorin here. Okay, let's see. Totalbiscuit. I thought that the players often didn't prepare for either 2v2 Starbow or special map features in the Clan Wars. And as a result, the players would default to rush strategies or even simply bad play. Are the teams taking the Clan Wars seriously enough?
Nope. Absolutely not. Let's go on. Well, if you are on Unfiltered. Yeah, so some players definitely don't take them seriously enough. One example would be Ruff, who was a fucking idiot. And he decided he would queue up. Bear in mind, this is how Clan Wars works, right? So you get given your map list 2 weeks in advance. So we also check with the teams whether or not they want to do a Starbow map. So we checked with IVD, and it's like, yeah, there seemed to be an agreement that we would do a Starbow map. So we listed it 2 weeks in advance, and then 1 week before the event, you bring out your lineup, and you say, this is your lineup. You do it blind. They're both announced at the same time, just like Pro League, yeah? So basically, Ruff had 2 weeks knowing he would play the Starbow map to practice Starbow, and he fucking didn't. And he got wrecked completely by Jade, who actually did practice it. And then he had the audacity to bitch about Starbow. It's like, no, the game isn't bad. You are. You're fucking awful. And the fact of the matter is your team got money even though they lost, which I'm now reconsidering, I might add. And you didn't take your game seriously. Yeah, well, I mean, it's a 70-30 split. So, because I think people should get paid for their time, because apparently I'm a reasonable human being. Which
But if people abuse that, then it's like,
Yeah.
If that starts getting abused, then there's no point in fucking doing that. Yeah.
You stipulate that, GTB, in your...
in what respect? Sorry,
whenever they sign on for all this stuff? I mean...
What do you mean?
Can you change how much you pay?
They have to take it seriously? I mean, that's not a technical rule that I can pull on somebody. But what I could do is put a warning system in. I'll have to think about that. I was hoping the teams would act like reasonable human beings, but some of them don't. So that's a bit of a problem there that I evidently have to handle. But whatever the case, if you don't want to play Starbow, don't fucking list yourself as a team that wants to play Starbow. We've fixed that now. IVD is not listed anymore. They said, well, you know, we didn't understand that we couldn't play Starbow. It's like, I wrote a 6-page rule book that clearly stated, and every team was distributed this over a month ago as to what you had to actually do there. And even if you didn't have a Starbow player, 2 weeks is adequate time to at least know what a Starbow build is, you know? And it's to say, and he, Ruff was saying, "Oh, what's Starbow?" It's like, are you fucking kidding me? Really?
Nice.
He wasn't even the only player to do that. Even Legend hadn't played Starbow. That was obvious. Crank was actually pissed off about that because he prepared for Starbow. Legend clearly hadn't, and it was a whitewash. And it's a joke. It's a joke for the viewers. It's a joke for the people that actually like Starbow and then want to see it played competitively. And it's not just Starbow. There are clearly other maps that people didn't properly prepare for, and they got wrecked on as a direct result. And maybe we just don't give enough money for it. But I think it's $5,000 a month for a 2-hour event that you're pretty much invited to, and you don't have to qualify for, and you even get some money if you lose.
Yeah.
I don't think you really have too much of an excuse not to at least prepare. If Jaedong loses his first map on Neo Jungle Valley because he was too busy at IEM to practice it, I can kind of understand that. He lost his second map, though, and didn't really seem to realize the functionality of the map. I understand he's a star player, but even Jaedong didn't seem to have too much time prepping there. And I think there's a big difference between the teams that did prep and the teams that didn't. Like Clan Who prepped hard. NYE's Academy players prepped hard, and their build showed that, and they put on really, really good matches for the fans. So, yeah, I mean, it's hard not to be a bit pissed off when teams clearly don't prepare and just take it for granted that they're going to get some money from doing this little Clan Wars online event. I know we're not the biggest event. We're a small event. Cool. I understand that. You don't have to dedicate 20-plus hours of prep for a map, but at least understand that you're going to have a map that has certain features, and don't put out a terrible build that clearly isn't going to work and you haven't even thought about it. Yeah, I think it's something that will clear up over time. I think Ruff is the obvious example, and I suspended him after that. He's not playing in the next Clan War for IVD, and he needs to improve his fucking attitude, or he won't play in any again. But
you should do the thing where, I don't remember which American band it was, or it might not even been American. I want to say it was like Led Zeppelin or somebody, but some rock band. They had, basically the thing was they had really huge
you're talking about the
shows.
Rider? Yeah, the fact that
yeah.
I think it was
M&M. It was like a bowl of all brown M&Ms or something, like stuck in the middle of the fucking contract to make sure that they actually read the entire thing. So if they showed up and the M&Ms weren't there, they was like, okay, well, you guys didn't read the shit, so how do we know anything else is set up right, you know?
Oh, really?
Exactly.
Okay. That's
well, it's really important. I think I can't remember who it was. It was Van Halen, I think. Because they'd had accidents in the past where, like, if they didn't properly measure the weight of the equipment and the stage tolerance, like, people could fucking die, you know? So it was pretty damn serious. But, yeah, I understand that it's a smaller event. People are definitely not going to have the prep time that they would for something like WCS, and they should clearly prioritize things like WCS. But there are definitely examples so far where it's been less of, I don't really understand the map, to, I have never even played on this map before, and I have no idea what this is. So, that shit needs to get fixed. I think game quality is getting better over time. The first few Clan Wars were fairly poor in terms of the game quality. I think the game quality is now increasing. And I think some of the smaller teams like Clan Who and even NYE's Academy are taking shit really seriously, and they're playing great games as a result, and I appreciate that. And guess who gets more Clan Wars as a result? Because I'm the one who calls that shit. So if teams are not taking it seriously, I just won't schedule them. It's really that simple.
Yeah. No, everybody should respect the format, guys, and be professional about it, obviously. Okay, next, we'll take a couple more. It's kind of this show has been going on forever.
God, how fucking shitty is it to be fucking Totalbiscuit after the shout where a fourth of your players didn't
What?
Didn't want to play out the fuck.
Shout out to American Winter? Yeah, don't even.
Oh yeah. That was ridiculous. Okay,
Totalbiscuit is like the StarCraft 2 testing ground for like how much bullshit can we like get by people, like, and if it makes Totalbiscuit mad, then we can't pass it off at another event.
Yeah,
it's a litmus test for us.
Apparently, I'm too kind to players, and I need to stop that, obviously, because they'll take me for a ride.
All right, Existential asks, Destiny and ChanManV, what are your... Okay, so he's asking about what are my thoughts